CCG blames Philippines for latest ship collision in the West Philippine Sea. In the entertainment news, Father's Day tributes to celebrity dads and Alodia Goshingfao, Christopher Kimbo expecting first child together.
You are listening to Clipfest, live from Cool Studios. This is Cool News at 6.
Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is koolNEWS at 6. From the station that cares for you, I'm Stephen Nuwanagoso. In response to China's anti-trespassing law encroaching on the West Philippine Sea, the Philippine Coast Guard on Monday said it has ordered two. So, it has ordered two of its vessels to patrol the waters around Scarborough Shoal to protect fisherfolk in the area. PCG vessels BRP Malapascua and BRP Sindangan have been deployed 30.8 nautical miles off Panatac Shoal, also known as Bajo de Masinloc, since Sunday, June 16, according to its spokesperson, Rear Admiral Armand Balilo. Balilo said our BRP Sindangan saw the shadowing of three China Coast Guard vessels during its patrol. PFP won't be deterred, intimidated by China's anti-trespassing policy. He also said the crews of two vessels checked on fishermen's condition as they communicated with Fishing Bankas FBCA Princess Yan Yan and Rundle 1 about 32 nm off Panatac Shoal. The spokesperson further said that the fisherfolk there were assured that the PCG will uphold their safety and provide security during fishing activities while providing food and medicine. Since June 15, China authorized its Coast Guard to detain foreigners deemed illegally crossing its borders without trial for up to 60 days, according to a South China Morning Post report on May 16. The SCMP noted that the announcement of China's anti-trespassing policy coincides with the arrival at Scarborough Shoal of a group of civilians and fishermen from the Philippines last month. Atidito conducted a mission from Panatac Shoal, but they could not reach the atoll after being blocked by China Coast Guard vessels. At one point, three CCG vessels surrounded the convoy's motorboat, where Inquirer.net was also aboard. The convoy only reached as nearly as 50 nautical miles before heading back to mainland Luzon. China seized control of Panatac Shoal's lagoon in 2012 after CCG standoff with Philippine vessels. Beijing asserts sovereignty in almost the entire South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea, even if such claim have been effectively invalidated by a July 2016 International Tribunal ruling from a case filed by Manila in 2013. This landmark decision also included Panatac Shoal, which was declared a traditional fishing ground that should be shared by the Philippines, China, and Vietnam. The Armed Forces of the Philippines on Monday called the China Coast Guard's amount of the reported collision between its vessel and a Filipino resupply boat in Ayungin Shoal deceptive and misleading. CCG said that its vessel took control measures against the resupply ship for entering the waters of Ayungin Shoal at 5:59 a.m. on Monday, causing a collision between the two. We will not dignify the deceptive and misleading claims of the China Coast Guard, said AFP Public Affairs Chief Colonel Cerces Trinidad in a statement. Trinidad, however, did not further provide details on the latest mission. He said the AFP will not discuss operational details on the legal humanitarian rotation and resupply mission at Ayungin Shoal, which is well within our EEZ or exclusive economic zone, he said. Commodore J. Tariela, Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, earlier declined to comment on CCG's claim, but later clarified that they are not in charge with the operation. As far as the PCG is concerned, we are not in a position to provide any details on this issue. This is not a PCG operation, Tariela told reporters when asked to comment on CCG's latest claims. The regular resupply mission in the BRP Sierra Madre grounded in Ayungin has become one of the flashpoints of tension in the West Philippine Sea, as China vessels resorted to usage of water cannons during previous missions, which even injured Philippine Navy personnel at one point. Last May 19, CCG personnel aboard rigid bull inflatable boats seized and dumped overboard food and other supplies which were airdropped by a military aircraft from the naval outpost. The Chinese Coast Guard said in a Philippine supply ship collided with one of its vessels near Ayungin Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. It blamed the Philippines for the incident, saying the Filipino ship illegally entered the waters near Ayungin Shoal at 5:59 a.m. on Monday, June 17. According to the CCG, it took control measures against the Philippine vessel, which allegedly ignored its repeated warnings. It said it violated the international regulations for preventing collisions at sea and deliberately approached the Chinese ship in an unprofessional manner, causing a collision. The responsibility lies entirely within the Philippines, it added. Monday's incident occurred amid increased tension between China and the Philippines, especially after Beijing told Manila to notify it before accessing Ayungin Shoal, a move that National Security Advisor Eduardo Año tagged as absurd, nonsense, and unacceptable. Both countries have been embroiled in a territorial dispute as China has been claiming ownership over most of the South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea through its 9-dash line, which it later amended to a 10-dash line to incorporate Taiwan. However, a July 2016 international tribunal ruling stemming from an arbitral case filed by the Philippines in 2013 invalidated China's assertions. But China has been ignoring the ruling, persistently encroaching on the Philippine waters and continuing its aggression and militarization within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. The koolNEWS had sought the side of the armed forces of the Philippines regarding this latest incident in the West Philippine Sea, but has yet to receive a response as of this report. For the Muslims out there, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos is on Monday called on Filipinos to grow in wisdom and fortitude as the nation commemorates Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice. In joining Filipino Muslims in the observance of Eid al-Adha, Marcos noted this solemn occasion as a unique opportunity to reflect on the life and tale of Ibrahim, whose steadfast faith and unconditional love for Allah have become the virtues core of the Islamic teachings. May we grow in wisdom and fortitude as we discern challenges, knowing that there is gain in surrender and the act of letting go, even of persons and things we value the most, said Marcos in a statement. As we understand the significance of this commemoration, we feel deep within ourselves that in nurturing our relationship with others and the Almighty, we are strengthened by our past and fueled with blessings to face tomorrow with grit and resilience. Marcos added hope that Filipinos will have the clarity of mind and the kindness of heart to overcome trials to prevent them from achieving true peace. Let us continue to radiate goodness to those around us, confident that with the right intention and conduct, the true, the good, and the beautiful will prosper now and in the years to come, he said. Eid al-Adha is the second of the true great Muslim festivals after Eid al-Fitr. The 21 Filipino seafarers rescued from a Houthi-hit MV Tutor in the Red Sea are set to arrive in Manila on Monday afternoon, days after they were extracted from the vessel by combined international forces, the Department of Migrant Workers said on Sunday. But the fate of the 22nd Filipino crew member, whose identity was not immediately disclosed, remained unknown as search operations continued, officials said. In a statement, the DMW said the rescued seafarers were received by Philippine Ambassador to Bahrain Jalan Doon Luis on Saturday and were expected to board a flight home on Sunday evening. The speedy arrangement for the 21 seafarers' homecoming came after President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered on Friday all concerned government agencies to exert efforts to bring the Filipino sailors to safety, even as one remained missing. The sailors arrived at around 5:30 p.m. on Saturday at the port of Manama in Bahrain, with all 21 safe and sound, according to Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak. The seafarers will be joined by labor attaché Hector Cruz, the DMW said. The Tutor was attacked on June 12 while sailing along the southern Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. The rebels struck off the western coast of Yemen and hit the Liberia-flagged Tutor with drones and missiles, according to the DMW. The attack which occurred near the Yemeni port of Hodeidah, reportedly caused severe flooding and damage to the engine room of the Greek-owned bulk carrier. The Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea are included in the expanded high-risk areas following several attacks by the Houthi rebels. The DMW have issued a directive that Filipino seafarers poised to be deployed in a warlike and high-risk areas would be given the option to refuse and with the right to be repatriated and given ample compensation. In an earlier statement, CACDAC said all 22 Filipino crew of MV Tutor had given consent to be deployed for a voyage that traverses the Red Sea. He said not only did they not refuse, they also wrote their consent to sail. On Sunday, the DMW said the government was working with the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations to bring the 21 rescued seafarers to Djibouti and bring them back to Manila. CACDAC clarified that the DMW continued to make efforts to find the missing crew member. We were assured by the manning agency that they will not stop, not cease in terms of locating our missing seafarer, who is just within the ship, he said. On Sunday, the United States Naval Forces Central Command, or NAVCENT, said it had rescued the crew of the Tutor on June 12. Sailors assigned to the Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group airlifted the crew out on Saturday, NAVCENT said, adding that one remained missing. In claiming responsibility for the attack, the Houthis said it was part of their campaign in support of the Palestinians and focused on ships bound for Israel. 21 Filipino seafarers rescued from the Houthi-hit merchant ship MV Tutor last June 12 will be receiving 150,000 pesos each from the lawmakers. On Monday, Tingog Party List Representative Jude Asidre said the 150,000 cash assistance, or a total of 3.15 million pesos in total, comes from the Personal Calamity Fund of House Speaker Martin Romualdez and his wife, Representative Yeda Marie. As citing Representative Vieda, Asidre said that the cash assistance aims to help them and their families as they transition back home. Aside from this, House Deputy Secretary General Sophonius Gabonada Jr. said Romualdez also sought to provide more government assistance to the seafarers, including benefits from the Sustainable Livelihood Program of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or the Department of Labor and Employment Integrated Livelihood and Emergency Employment Program. Also included in the aid package being worked out for the rescued seafarers are financial aid of 10,000 pesos per qualified immediate family member under the AKAP, Ayuda para sa Kapos ang Kita program of the DSWD, and a 20-day emergency employment under the Tupad program of DOLE, the statement said. The 21 rescued seafarers arrived on Monday morning at the Nino Aquino International Airport. In addition to the cash assistance from the Romualdez couple, the crew members received financial assistance worth 230,000 from various government agencies. Before this, the government of Bahrain also granted them 30,000 or 192 Bahraini dinars each. Based on the reports, Houthi rebels off the western coast of Yemen hit their Liberia-flagged Tutor with drones and missiles on June 12. There were 22 Filipino seafarers on board with the MV Tutor. Of this figure, 21 were rescued while one remains missing. Feeling okay does not mean you're okay. Feeling good does not mean you're good. Listen to your body. This was seasoned broadcaster Arnold Clavio's advice to the public following a recent health scare that almost cost his life. Clavio narrated that on June 11, 7:10 p.m., he suffered from numbness in the right arm and leg while he was driving home. According to him, he drove to a gasoline station and got out of the car while trying to walk but found it difficult to do so. He drove to an emergency hospital along the way where tests were done. Doctors recommended that he take a CT scan test too. In a phone interview, the Kapuso journalist recalled that his day started as usual, adding that he was feeling happy earlier as he spent his time playing golf and preparing for the Independence Day coverage. Little did he know, however, that a scary turn of events would occur that day, an experience that he would later describe as a wake-up call and life-changing. He continued saying that he was able to stop at a nearby gas station. In the restroom, he immediately checked on the mirror to see if his face was drooping or if it was bloated, but no, they were not. He noticed, however, that he had an unusual gait, which he likened to a toddler talk when he got out of his car to go to the restroom. Fortunately, despite the numbness in his right arm and leg causing him not to feel the pedals for gas and brakes, Clavio was able to drive himself to Fatima Medical Center. He was sent to the emergency room where he underwent some tests. He added, quoting the test results, that the affected area was a part of the brain responsible for sensation and muscle control, which explains the numbness. Clavio was strictly transferred to St. Luke's Medical Center in BGC. He was brought to the hospital's acute stroke unit where the doctors observed his condition and brought down his blood pressure and blood sugar levels. Clavio's health care would serve as a health warning to others. But what do we really know about this hemorrhagic stroke? According to the Harvard Health Publishing, a hemorrhagic stroke is bleeding or hemorrhage that suddenly interferes with the brain's function. Hemorrhage is divided into two categories: intracerebral bleeding, caused by a broken blood vessel in the brain. Among the, among the risk factors are high blood pressure, heavy alcohol use, and advanced age. Harvard Health Publishing explained that symptoms for this category always occur when the person is awake and tend to appear without warning but can develop gradually. The symptoms, which can worsen over a period of 30 to 90 minutes, can include headache, sudden weakness, paralysis, or numbness in any part of the body, and the other. Another type of bleeding is subarachnoid hemorrhage. The bleeding from a damaged blood vessel causes blood to fill a portion of the space between the brain and the skull, which mixes the cerebrospinal fluid that cushions the brain and the spinal cord. Yale Medicine noted that the most hemorrhagic strokes are caused by hypertension, which can result in a ruptured artery in the brain. Both hypertension and smoking are considered risk factors for developing aneurysms. All these and more can be found on Inquire.net's article written by Christina Eloisa Baklik. That's Inquire.net. That's newinfo.inquire.net. We move on to the national news. Alice Guo, the suspended mayor of Bamban Town in Tarlac, may face human trafficking charges this week, an official of the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission said. PAOCC spokesperson Winston Casio explained that Guo may be liable for the crime because she had a partial ownership of properties where alleged human trafficking activities took place. He said on ANC's Head Start on Monday, "We are very confident that we will be able to file human trafficking charges against the mayor of Bamban. Now, we have also been viewing other possible charges in relation to money laundering as well as other charges that either minor charges, so to speak." He added, "For sure, by this week, we will be able to file human trafficking charges against Guo and her conspirators." Castro cited a provision in the anti-human trafficking law that penalizes owners of buildings and properties that allow their estates to be used for human trafficking. Guo earlier claimed that she sold her share in Baofu land, the property in Tarlac where government authorities raided an illegal Philippine offshore gaming operator identified as Zunyuan Technology Incorporated in March. According to Casio, while Guo may say that she sold her Baofu land share before running for mayor in 2022, she may still have culpability because it was she who signed off on lease contracts between Zunyuan Technology Incorporated and Baofu land. International news. The Kremlin said Monday that Kyiv-led international peace summit on Ukraine that it was not invited to produce zero results. Officials from more than 90 countries gathered in Switzerland this week, backing Ukraine's independence but leaving key questions of how to end the conflict unresolved. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, "If we talk about the results of this meeting, then they come down to zero." A final document was backed by a vast majority of countries attending the summit, but several countries did not sign it, including Saudi Arabia, India, and the United Arab Emirates. Many countries would understand the lack of perspective of any serious discussion about the presence of our country. He said Russian President Vladimir Putin was still open to dialogue and serious discussion. Putin last week said Moscow would only join peace talks if Ukraine gave up 4 of its regions, effectively demanding that it surrender. The Kremlin launched its full-scale offensive against Ukraine on February 24, 2022, 2 years ago. A senior Ukrainian energy official coming from Kyiv has warned that scheduled power outages and emergency blackouts will intensify over the coming weeks after a string of Russian attacks crippled Ukrainian electricity generation. President Volodymyr Zelensky said this month the aerial bombardments have halved the country's electricity production compared to a year ago, disrupting the limited supplies for millions. Over the next few weeks, the situation will be much tougher than it is today. The head of national grid operator Ukrenergo, Volodymyr Kedirsky, said in an interview late on Sunday. He said periods during which Ukrainians might not have power were likely to be extended by up to 12 hours per day, and that outages could become more stringent. This situation will continue until the end of July, he said in an interview broadcast on state media. In addition to systematic strikes on the thermal and hydroelectrical plants, he said there could be more outages due to maintenance work on nuclear plants and to weather conditions. Scheduled outages could also be imposed during peak consumption periods and be quite serious, Kurditsky said. Ukrainian officials have been forced to ramp up imports of electricity from neighboring European Union countries to make up the shortfalls and have urged allies to help restoring the embattled energy sector. Kyiv has also called on its allies to bolster Ukrainian air defense systems to safeguard critical infrastructure from Russian missile and drone barrages. For entertainment news, good news for as Kong TV and B. Cortez have already officially married. Mabuhay ang bagong kasal. That is a developing story. In the other news, the Father's Day celebration have it feature heartfelt tributes from celebrities to show the love to respective husbands and fathers. This includes Casey Concepcion to Gabby Concepcion. Happy Father's Day to you, Papa. Te quiero mucho. She captioned her Father's Day post. Following a My Day of her inside a kitchen for the Father's Day dinner on Instagram. Also, Marian Rivera to husband Dingdong Dates. He called Dantes the amazing father. She said, thank you for being an amazing father and for always putting our family first. You are my rock and my best friend, and I love you more each day. Maxine Magalona to late dad Francis M. Sharing a quote said, you are a reflection of your father, she was told. And Francis M. forever. I think in all these, there's so much outpouring tributes to different celebrities. The article was brought to you by Inquirer.net. And finally, speaking of family news, Alodia Gongxingfao, the famous cosplayer, and her non-showbiz husband Christopher Kimbo announced they are expecting their first child, putting an end to the pregnancy speculations hounding the cosplayer content creator. Earlier this month, Alodia's social network or social media account shared a photo of her having a baby egg on Facebook or whatever social media it is. The couple confirmed Guo Fao's pregnancy through a joint Instagram post on Sunday, June 16, where the announcement was made through the couple looking at the ultrasound photo at what seemed to be a gaming console. Player 3 has destroyed the party, the caption read. Guo Fao and Kimbo, however, didn't disclose how far the cosplay content creator is in her pregnancy. The couple was surrounded by congratulatory messages in the comments, including content creators Chris Uy, Vernice Enciso, and Vern Enciso, as well as entertainment journalist Gretchen Fulido. Guo Fao sparked pregnancy speculations earlier this month after sharing a photo of an oval-shaped lamp resembling a dragon egg. This led to her fans wondering if she was indeed expecting her first child with Kimbo. The couple said I do on Valentine's Day in a private ceremony at the luxury hotel in Pasay City. Prior to confirming her pregnancy, the vlog content creator has been vocal about wanting to have children, saying she's hoping to bear one girl and one boy in the future. And that is all for today, or for tonight's koolNEWS at 6. We will return at some time for koolNEWS Prime Time and then available editions of the koolNEWS on our TVH Network YouTube channel. I'm Stephen Lawana Del Sol, and this has been koolNEWS at 6. Have a safe evening, and this is Cool FM. Good night.